Some stories fade with time, buried beneath silence, lost in forgotten files, or dismissed as mysteries that will never be solved. But behind every case is a voice that was never heard, a truth still waiting in the dark. This channel is dedicated to the victims, the unanswered questions, and the stories that refuse to disappear. Because somewhere, someone still knows what happened. Welcome to Cries Unheard in the Darkness. May 11th, 2011, Aurora, Illinois. It started as a typical Wednesday for the Pitzen family. At 8 a.m., James Pitzen dropped his 6-year-old son, Timothy, off at Greenman Elementary. It was a routine goodbye, a backpack, a hug, and a see you later. But less than 15 minutes after the bell rang, Timothy's mother, Amy Fry-Pitzen, walked into the front office. She claimed there was an urgent family crisis. She checked her son out of class, walked him to her SUV, and drove away. There was no emergency. At least, not the kind she described. When James arrived that afternoon to pick up his son, the parking lot was empty. His wife was gone. His son was gone. And a calculated countdown had already begun. For the next 48 hours, Amy and Timothy weren't hiding in the shadows. They were in the brightest lights imaginable. They visited the Brookfield Zoo. They spent the night at the Key Lime Cove Resort in Gurnee. By the following day, they had crossed into Wisconsin Dells, checking into the Kalahari Resort. Security footage from the resorts shows a mother and son walking through hallways, seemingly without a care. Timothy looks like any other kid on a surprise vacation. On Friday, May 13th, the tone shifts. Amy begins making phone calls to family members. She tells them Timothy is safe. She tells them not to worry. In the background of one call, Timothy can be heard. He tells his relative he's hungry. It's the last time anyone outside of his mother would ever hear his voice. By Friday evening, the vacation was over. Amy was spotted on a grocery store camera in Winnebago, Illinois. This time, she was alone. No Timothy. No toys. Just a woman buying stationery. At 11:15 p.m., she checked into the Rockford Inn. The next morning, hotel staff made a discovery that changed this from a missing persons case into a nightmare. Amy was dead by her own hand. But it was the note she left behind that froze the blood of investigators. Timothy is safe. He is with people who love him and will take care of him. You will never find him. Police rushed to her vehicle. They found Timothy's car seat, but no boy. They found a concerning amount of blood, which family members later claimed was from a previous nosebleed. But the most haunting evidence was the mud on the tires. Soil and sediment that suggested the car had been driven into a remote, grassy meadow near a body of water. For years, the case went cold. Until 2019. A teenager appeared in Newport, Kentucky, trembling and claiming he had just escaped from 2 men who had held him captive for 7 years. He told police his name was Timmothy Pitzen. The media frenzy was instantaneous. For 24 hours, it seemed a miracle had arrived. But the DNA told a different story. The boy was not Timothy. He was a 23-year-old man with a history of hoaxes. The Pitzen family was shattered all over again. The world moved on, but the chair at James Pitzen's dinner table remained empty. Was Amy Fry-Pitzen telling the truth? Is there a secret network of people raising a boy who doesn't know his own name? Or was her final note the ultimate act of revenge against a husband she feared losing her son to in a divorce? Timothy Pitzen would be in his early 20s today. If you are watching this, and your past feels like a blur, if your childhood begins at the age of 6 with a new family, look at this face. If you have any information regarding the case of Timothy Pitzen, please contact the Aurora Police Department in Illinois. Thank you for listening to Cries Unheard in the Darkness. If this story stayed with you, you're not alone. Subscribe, because the darkness always has more to say. Until next time, listen carefully,